Welcome to the Christian Science Bible Lesson Companion. This lesson is all about addressing challenges in the work life, achieving your goals, and making big things happen. I'm retired Commander John Steele, with boots-on-the-ground experience in Special Forces and the cutthroat world of business. No fluff, no excuses, just direct fire on the Christian Science Quarterly Bible Lesson for July 21 to 27, 2025, themed Truth. This isn't theory. It's about deploying eternal truth to crush limitations, heal distortions, and drive transformation in your operations. We'll hit key takeaways for business life, deep dive the sections with the Bible in science and health, and close with questions to lock in your gains. Part 1. 5 key takeaways for business life. Truth drives renewal in chaos. The lesson hammers home that eternal truth renews everything, even in wilderness moments, making way for new paths. In business, change hits hard. Market shifts, team restructurings, failed projects, but clinging to outdated strategies leads to breakdown. This truth demands you adapt without fear, turning obstacles into opportunities. Application. When a project stalls, don't double down on old tactics. Audit your approach, seek fresh insights from your team, and pivot decisively. Execute the change, measure results, and build momentum. Your leadership isn't proven in stability, but in how you renew under pressure. Humility unlocks turnarounds. Like King Manasseh, who hit rock bottom in captivity, but humbled himself to recognize God's truth, leading to restoration. Business pros face failures, bad hires, missed deadlines, toxic cultures, but ego blocks recovery. Truth requires owning mistakes and realigning with core values. Application. If a deal goes south due to your oversight, don't deflect blame. Call a team huddle, admit the error, and map corrective actions. Mentor others through it, turning the setback into a stronger unit. Results come from humble execution, not excuses. Outgrow old systems for innovation. The parable of new wine in new bottles warns against forcing fresh ideas into rigid structures, as truth demands shedding outdated beliefs to preserve progress. In corporate life, legacy processes stifle growth, like outdated tech dragging down efficiency. Divine science pushes for a mental shift to harmony. Application. Facing a challenging project with obsolete tools? Don't patch it. Overhaul the framework, train your team on new methods, and test iteratively. Deliver prototypes that work, proving value through action. Innovation isn't optional, it's your edge in the fight. Truth heals and frees limitations. Jesus casting out unclean spirits shows truth's authority over discord, freeing individuals instantly, while knowing truth makes you free from bondage. Business challenges like burnout, conflicts with managers, or imposter syndrome are mental illusions truth exposes and eradicates. Application. When colleague tensions escalate or self-doubt creeps in, confront it head-on with honest dialogue rooted in shared goals. Replace fear with disciplined steps, daily affirmations of your capabilities, seek feedback, and act on it. Freedom comes from truth in motion, not avoidance. Yield to spiritual insight for transformation. Paul's conversion on the Damascus Road flipped his worldview when he yielded to divine truth, changing from persecutor to advocate. In business, uncertain decisions or resistance to feedback keep you stuck. Spiritual sense elevates consciousness to eternal truth. Application. Dealing with a tough manager or project pivot? Pause, reflect on core principles, and adjust your stance without resentment. Implement changes immediately. Update your plan, communicate clearly, and track progress. Transformation builds legacies. Indecision destroys them. Part 2. Deep Dive Analysis. Section 1. The Bible declares God unchanging, yet creating new things, like making rivers in deserts from the book of Isaiah, and pouring Spirit on offspring, while Psalms affirm trust in the God of truth for guidance. From Science and Health, eternal truth changes the universe, with no wisdom true but divine, and spiritual understanding uplifts consciousness to light. This reveals truth as the foundation for renewal, blending permanence with progress. In business, when market disruptions hit, lean on unchanging principles like integrity to innovate. Don't resist change. Use it to guide teams through uncertainty, fostering resilience and fresh strategies that turn challenges into growth. Section 2. Ecclesiastes states, "Whatever God does endures forever, requiring the past." And 2 Chronicles recounts Manasseh's redemption after humility in affliction, leading him to remove idols and serve truthfully, as Joshua urges fearing the Lord in sincerity. From Science and Health, prayer coupled with desire brings us into truth, which can't be changed, and stirs the mind against mortal illusions. This section emphasizes eternal stability amid human error, with transformation through alignment. For business life, like Manasseh's turnaround, when a failed initiative binds you, humble yourself, audit errors, and rebuild processes. Colleagues respond to authentic leadership, turning project failures into lasting team strength. Section 3. Psalms highlight the Lord's paths of mercy and truth for covenant keepers. John notes grace and truth through Jesus. Matthew shows Jesus dining with sinners. And Luke's parable warns new wine bursts old bottles, plus women healed ministering. From Science and Health, outgrowing the old without fear. Divine science rejects mixing infinite with finite, stirring the mind to divine harmony, where truth heals by unmaking sin. This teaches embracing renewal over outdated limits. In business, discard rigid hierarchies when onboarding innovative talent. Mentor diverse teams, like healed women contributing, to prevent spills. This harmony boosts collaboration, solving colleague conflicts through fresh, inclusive approaches. Section 4. Psalms say the Lord is near those calling in truth and heals the soul. Mark depicts Jesus rebuking an unclean spirit with authority, astonishing onlookers, and John promises knowing truth frees you. From Science and Health, truth acts through understanding, not blind belief, as Jesus protests of man's unity with God. Miracles unfold primal order without disorder. This underscores truth's power to liberate from discord. Business application. Facing a chaotic project with unclean inefficiencies, command authority like Jesus, rebuke delays decisively, align with core truths, freeing your team from bottlenecks for efficient execution and renewed momentum. Section 5. Zechariah commands speaking truth and executing judgment in peace. Act details Paul's defense before Agrippa, recounting his vision yielding to Jesus, speaking words of truth despite accusations, and 2 Corinthians describes changing into the Lord's image through Spirit. From Science and Health, material sense hides existence while spiritual lifts to eternal truth. Saul yielded uncertain right to spiritual sense for nobler life. Understanding truth destroys evil practice. This highlights yielding for enlightenment. In business, like Paul's shift, when challenging managers question your vision, stand firm in truth. Yield ego. Present facts soberly, transforming resistance into alliance, elevating team performance through disciplined insight. Section 6. Psalms exalt God's mercy and truth to the heavens. 1 Corinthians explains flesh can't inherit the kingdom, but will change in a moment, with death swallowed in victory through Christ. From Science and Health, living Christ is practical truth enabling resurrection. Understanding shifts standpoints from material to spiritual for soul's control. Eternal truth destroys error-learned illusions, revealing real existence. This affirms ultimate victory over mortality. For business pros, amid grueling projects symbolizing death of ideas, embrace instant change, put off old limitations, claim spiritual control, turning potential failure into triumph, securing lasting success through persistent faith in truth. Part 3. 3 questions for further reading. Now, let's lock this in with action. These 3 questions tie the takeaways and analysis together. Don't just ponder them,
Answer honestly and apply immediately through the week to drive real change in your business battles. What outdated bottle in your current project or team dynamic are you forcing new ideas into, and how will you replace it with a fresh structure starting tomorrow to align with eternal truth? Recall a recent failure or conflict with a colleague. How can yielding to spiritual insight, like Paul's conversion, transform your approach this week to turn it into a win? In dealing with change from managers or market pressures, what one action will you take daily to call on truth for freedom, ensuring your decisions reflect renewal and not fear? Outro. That's the mission briefing. Truth isn't passive, it's your weapon for domination in business and life.